Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Band Podcast. My name is Gray,
And this is Blue.
and we are Bluest. And this podcast is it's like an audio, kind of an audio log of every month where we talk about what happened, some of the cool stuff, some of the not so cool stuff, and just kind of discuss with each other, and just kind of keep a log, I guess, kind of keep a record of our streaming journey or whatever. So we are on this is the 1 year anniversary of the Bluest podcast,
hmm
right? We've been doing this for a year now, once a month. I know we're a little late, but
This one is episode 11, month 12.
yeah. So we're talking about the month of May. The month of May was pretty intense. We did start a new game and we finished it, Plague Tale. That was really fun, right?
hmm
You played through. You're the one that played through it, Blue. How was it?
It was pretty fun. I mean, it reminded me a lot of Last of Us in a way, where there's a lot of sneaking around and a lot of, like, you don't really have any, like, big weapons. You just get a slingshot. And so it was pretty interesting, but there were some parts that were a little difficult, which was nice.
It,
Ending I was hoping for a cliffhanger ending. So then it would like make me excited for the next one or be like, oh, there's gonna be a sequel. But it actually just kind of ended very well. Like it was just like this very nice, you know, like it was an actual end to the story. So I mean that was nice too.
there were some parts of that game that was really hard for you to get through, right?
Yeah, because it's just there were some parts that were hard to understand what they were expecting me to do, or there were areas where I had to stay in the light, but it was hard to see if like the lit area was like how far I could get to the edge of the lit area before I could get attacked or like things like that. So it's just like little mechanicy things.
If you could
But
describe that game in like a sentence for, maybe somebody that has no idea what kind of game that is, how would you describe that game? Like play style, atmosphere and stuff like that. And not like not story stuff, but just kind of cuz that could be very spoilery. So kind of like play style. Like what if someone was about to buy the game, what kind of game are they like expecting?
oh, it's kind of like The Last of Us, where you play as a female character who goes around and tries to, I guess, sneak past enemies or like lots of like, it's not a very combative game. Lots of puzzles, lots of sneaking around, things like that. It's just that, and the setting is what kind of intrigued me. Was it's set in a time where the Black Plague was going on, and so yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
It's a really pretty game,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the
but
graphics were really nice
all I have to say is if you don't like rats, if you have a big fear of rats, I would stay away from that game because there's a lot of rats,
for sure.
right? And I don't think that's spoiler enough. It's in the opening, the menu screen when you start the game. So get ready for a lot of rats. Yeah, but one of the biggest things that happened, that we couldn't really touch on stream, and we did discuss it on Discord a little bit, just to let everybody know what was going on, was the bot situation was the big thing for us in May.
hmm
And I think a lot of people wanted they still keep asking us about it now that it's over. Um, but we couldn't talk about it because on the Twitch guideline when you get botted, it says acknowledge that it's there, but don't put too much attention to it, just because that could, if the bots or something malicious, that actually is exactly what they want for you to talk about it more, so then they can keep botting you more. So we didn't really talk about it as much. Um, and we kind of asked the community that, with their understanding that we will be ignoring those kind of messages. We made a command for it later on, so we don't have to actually talk about it or whatever. But how was that? What was your take on that?
I mean, at first it was very frustrating because it is. I mean, yeah, you're getting botted, and it is very frustrating when you're getting false numbers. Because I mean, because when you're getting false numbers and false averages, you can't really see who's actually really there or how many people are actually there and who's actually enjoying the stream kind of thing. Or we don't even know who like the followers that we were getting where it's like, well, are these real people kind of thing? And so it was pretty frustrating at first. Um I mean, in the end I got used to ignoring it. But in the beginning I was very frustrated cuz like yeah, it's just it. I yeah, I don't. I'm not sure what else I can add to just being really annoyed and frustrated.
I think for me, the saddest part is when somebody in the community that comes in and they're genuinely happy for us because they don't know what's going on. And their first inclination, which why not, is, oh my God, did you guys get raided? Or you've guys, somebody that hasn't been in the channel for a while comes back and congratulates us. And we have to be the ones to tell them the bad news that it's, and we don't want to go into it. So it's kind of like we have to kind of brush it off, which is, it sucks that we have to do that, because they're genuinely happy for us. And we wish we were there, but, and of course, the whole like, we, our sense of progression is completely lost, but because all the numbers are not real, they don't mean anything. Um, as much. Like, I mean, we know we have people there, so we're just focused on chat. Like, even more hyper focused on who's actually in chat. Um, it started with an IRL stream, right? Like, I think.
Hmm. Oh, and another thing that sorry, I'm gonna cut in right there, but another thing that was really that made me angry is the fact that we do have a lot of very dedicated people who very generous people who gave out like gift subs. And a lot of times those, I'm guessing, because I don't know, but a lot of those subs, like most of the time, you can't choose who you gift it to if it's like, a, if you give like 5 or 10 or like just large increments. And so there were times when people would give gift subs, like 5 gift subs to the community. And it sucks seeing them go to like obvious, maybe not necessarily obvious, but like we don't know if it's even going to an actual person who's enjoying the stream or who's actually there. So it was a bit, it was, yeah. That's just another thing that was really unfortunate. It's like these people are trying to support us and trying to give to the community, and yet they they might be giving a free sub to like, someone who's just a computer. So,
And we this wasn't the first time we've ever gotten botted. We got botted once a while ago when we did the Owl Cafe stream. We got in
mhm.
Harajuku, we got botted. Also during our 12-hour stream, we got botted. And the after the we had another IRL stream in Ebisu. It was a Sunday stream. We got trolled pretty hard by a group of people, and right after that, it might be coincidence. Who knows? Oh, for the record, we have no idea who was behind the botting this time. To this day, we have no idea, and we have no interest of finding out. Because the truth is we don't actually know if it was a troll or if it was someone that thought they were helping. And I'll go into that later. Why we think why that could be a possibility, but um, but yeah, we so that was, but this time the numbers were just way, the view count was just a lot larger than anything that we've encountered before. Before it was like 200, 300, which is still huge for our in our standards, but we're talking like 800, 900, almost hitting 1K viewers per stream for about a good week and a half straight. To the point where we were really getting worried of um the interactions of like new people, and once that kind of stuff happens, there's a whole new dynamic and a new way of new people to interact with and how they see our stream. And um there's something really big that I learned through this experience, and hopefully, because I know botting is a big problem on Twitch, I just want to say never expect or assume, sorry, never assume that a streamer is botting themselves. When you see a big count and the chat is not weak, like, I just hope your first reaction, if you saw this happen live with us, I think the lesson to be learned is that you can, for a lot of cases, you're getting botted. Some people bot themselves, and I know that, and that's like not good. I don't know why anyone would do that, in the sense that it really doesn't help you in the long run at all. But there's a lot of cases, or we were one of the cases where you get botted. So I just never ever assume that somebody's botting themselves anymore until, um like, and that's a big lesson to be that I learned as a streamer. because I don't want to go in with that kind of negative mindset because botting is not cool. Is botting your own channel makes is really not that. It's not smart. It's really easy to tell from an admin side on Twitch if you're doing it to yourself.
You can
Um,
get banned
yeah, and
if you do
you
that.
can't get
Yeah.
partnership. So like it if that's your main goal, of course. Um, but yeah, so that was a big lesson that I learned. But then we kind of like figured out our own way. We talked about it a lot. We talked to other people that have more experience on Twitch um, about it, and we kind of had actually a rather a positive mindset while it was happening, right? And the mindset was kind of it was seeing the whole situation as a blessing in disguise. And I know that that might sound really weird, but and that might sound like we encourage botting, which we abso-fucking-lutely do not. But there was nothing we could do. There really wasn't. We couldn't raid anybody. We were on a stream team, but we couldn't raid them because we also read that if we have an account that's being botted and you raid somebody, that could actually bring the bots with us, and we didn't want to do that. So we were really careful, and we couldn't raid anybody. Um, so we were just kind of like in this bubble, and there was nothing we could do. So we thought about it and said, well, you know what? It does technically bring us up top on any game directory that we do with the games that we played. So we just got to use that as an advantage, it more than anything. And um, we did have new people come in. The reality of it was that there were new people coming in and they were interacting. Of course, there's a whole new layer, a new type of skeptical viewers that came in that would always mention that uh, that chat was dead compared to the view count because it didn't match up, or um, people that were just they were really adamant and just asking, and of course, and very genuine users and community members asking if we were getting botted. um but it just we just had to be in that mindset because there was nothing we could do.
Especially since we were at a point where we were getting a bit like it was very obvious that it was taking kind of a toll on us and it was affecting us a lot to the point where we were getting kind of not necessarily scared, but it was more like before we even would start streaming for the day, we'd be like, oh, it's gonna happen again today, isn't it? Kind of thing. And we were obviously in a very negative mindset because of this. And so we kind of had to manipulate it in a way where it would, I guess, keep us motivated to ride through it in hopes that it would sometimes it would go away in the future and we can just continue to do what we usually do.
It was hard, especially when we talked to more experienced streamers about it. The response was, I've never seen it happen before, which is really surprising. Getting botted is, it's common, but just for such a, I guess, um, that time frame was rare, and it just every stream, 2 times a day, every single stream for a week and a half. So that's like almost more than 10 streams of just boom, 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 800, 800, 800 as soon as we start, and it was like we just had to be in that mindset to just use that, um, not the bots, but use the fact that we were getting botted, um, or else we just our motivation would just it would just blow. Like it would just like there was nothing that we could do. It would just bring us down. The statistics don't mean anything, and it hurt because it hurt for us personally because in that month we got that the part you can apply to partner now, and that was the worst way that that could have shown up. And of course we didn't apply to it yet, because normally we're not at the 75 concurrent viewers per stream yet, so there's no point of we would never apply to that at this point because we don't think we deserve it. But it was just such a like we were working so hard all year for that button to show up on our dashboard, and then this is how it appears, and then it's like on Twitch page, it's like all this confetti, like you finally made it to you can apply for partner now, and then all this the page is just full of confetti and congratulating us, and I'm just thinking this is not the way that we wanted that button to pop up, and that was just like a personally that just sucked.
And especially since like a month before that, we were hitting a pretty good number of like regular, not regular, but like viewers. We were hitting like, average of 50s and 60s, and we were growing and we were showing progression. And it's like, maybe we can reach reach the requirement for partnership in a couple months is what we were thinking. But then this happened and it's like, well, now we don't know what was genuine and what was the bots, and so we kind of have to start over again almost. So that was really disappointing.
Yeah, I completely
Yeah.
agree.
And so seeing that button wasn't satisfying at all.
That was a
It
really
just makes me sad every time I look at it right now.
it was actually a very heartbreaking moment. When you work for something so hard for a year, and not just you, the whole community has been working really hard and pushing us, and I think we've really uh I think it's hard to deny that any streamer that's been working hard at for a year really just wants that button to show up, and whether you get the partnership or not on that first, because a lot of times you apply and you don't get it, but you don't get partnership, but that's totally besides the point. And just and some people say partnership isn't everything. Of course we know that, but like
It's just a milestone. It's like a milestone that you can get where there's confetti on the page. Like it's a little it's something that shows that you are growing as like as a channel, as a streamer. And so to have that taken away from us was very, yeah.
yeah, it was
Was
heartbreaking.
really
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
So
Yeah.
in order for us to keep a positive mindset, was to say what can we do as Bluest to, instead of just getting ourselves down about it, because we can't do anything. So um how do we mentally approach this every day, and almost, if they are trolling, then use that to our advantage, so it's kind of like a middle finger to the trolls. And this is something I mentioned before, that I said I would come back, is that we don't know if the people that put in the bots on our channel are people that actually support us and think that it's helping us or trolling us. And I said I would explain that is because it costs money to put bots in. Um People, it's not something that you can just do. Maybe you could do it for free, but like the things that I've normally come across when I was doing the research on it, was you usually pay for bots. So I mean, it's a pretty big dedication if you're paying for it, for our to put bots into our channel, unless they buy it and they just have maybe like for like a month and they've already done it for somebody else, and then they're just like, I'm just gonna put the rest of the bots in this channel. I don't know what it is. And there's really no point of figuring it out, because if we did find out whoever, let's say our most dedicated viewer was doing it, I mean, we would ban them immediately. And we would have to, well, we would ban anybody if they were in the community doing this, because we don't condone it. It's completely inappropriate. It doesn't help us in any way. And I hope this is the message that they can get. And I think if it was a very dedicated viewer that did that, in quote unquote, for us, then this could be a lesson to be learned. And never do that to anybody. Even if you hate them, don't do that. It's a terrible thing to do. Um, it doesn't help anybody. It really doesn't.
Yeah. And it's not funny. It's not, I don't think it's not something you should be doing as a joke
Yeah.
or even to try to, I mean, maybe it's your way of helping in your view, but I think it's safe to say that, yeah, it didn't help us if that's what you were trying to do. And it wasn't funny if that's what you were trying to do too. It's just like either way, it's not, yeah, you should stop.
But the ultimate problem doesn't lie in the person that did it. There's no point of telling them that, because the problem is the system of
Yeah.
how easy it is to put a bot in. If we got botted uh, this easily, it must have been super public information. For example, twitch.tv/bluest. You just type that in and you can put a bot in. Or like, I would understand if you needed the stream code, which is like this really long number in letters that you shouldn't show anybody. That's the code that they use to identify your stream. It's not even that private information. It's the most public information, is all we can guess. Is the most public information that you can find anywhere about any channel, and you can put a bot inside. So there's a huge problem in the fact that you can do it that easily. And that's why botting is such a problem, because it's so easy. All you got to pay is like a couple bucks, or you pay money, a amount of money that people can buy. It's not like some like corporate enterprise thing where like it costs a shit ton of money, so only like really rich companies can buy. Anybody can buy these bots and just type in a URL and put them into your channel, and that's yeah, you're an asshole for doing it for if you're like trolling somebody and it's maybe you're doing it with the right intentions, but it really doesn't matter at this point because it's just not good. But ultimately, it's the system's fault and for making it happen so easily. Because and we can talk about it openly now because it's over and we have nothing to hide because we didn't do anything, and it's that's kind of like my overall impression of this whole thing is I think the system just needs to improve so it gets harder. I know it's really hard to combat something like that, but um that's my take. I can't it's a waste of time to blame like like trolls that do that cuz they'll do that whatever. They don't change.
Yeah.
There's no point in talking to something, that's a lost cause pretty much. Or talking about that, but what can change and what should change is the platform that's being provided, and it just looks bad for Twitch too. So
Yeah, for sure.
that was just kind of like my take. Like it sucked. If it was trying to help, if you were trying to help, that's not the way to do it. If you're being a troll, then you're being a troll, and thanks for the help. And for the system, it just I just hope it gets better and combats that. And after that, what we started to realize that a lot and a lot of channels are either getting botted or they're botting themselves. And after it happened to us, and we really took the time to go into Twitch and see what's going on, and once we got our numbers back, and we see the normal numbers now, um, it's just it's everywhere on is what I realized. Way more than I
Mm-hmm.
expected. I wasn't even
Yeah.
like caring when I was looking through the previews, little thumbnails, I saw a big number and I was like, "Okay, that's a big streamer." And then you would like check it out like maybe we should stream this game, check it out. And then they're either getting botted or they're botting. I have no idea, but it's the same thing that was happening to us regards of view and chat was happening, And it's this whole thing sucks because we're talking about ourselves now, but think about if you're supporting a streamer, like you're just in the chat and you're supporting a streamer, and you see these people come in and be like, "I can't believe you're bodying yourself," ha ha ha. Ha." Like I would be hurt as a community member for the streamer because we're doing this all together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks for the community to see that too,
Yeah.
because I would like to think that they think like, "Oh, they don't deserve this." Like they've been working their asses off, and it's um and all of a sudden now we're just these for these new people that came in and went, and this is not everybody, like some people stayed and it was really cool, but because they understood the situation, but uh
I mean, there
yeah.
were some times when, you know, how I stream by myself on Wednesdays, when I would be by myself and there would be trolls that would come in saying, like, oh, what bots do you use? Or like, oh, like, you know, chat, dead chat, dead chat. Like they would spam dead chat. And it's like, you know, I'm trying to, I'm just trying to get through it. There's nothing, I mean, I don't think we did anything to deserve what happened to us. And so it's frustrating when you're really upset because of this and then the trolls come in and they kind of push your buttons and it's like, well, you don't understand the situation, you don't know anything, please stop harassing me, kind of thing. So it was, yeah,
And
it was very difficult.
it's a lose-lose situation because we're not supposed to be talking about it on stream as much.
Yeah.
Like the guidelines tell you not to talk about it, don't bring too much attention to it, but we have to interact with chat, and if we ignore it, it seems like it seems like we're botting ourselves if we're
Like we're
ignoring,
guilty. Yeah.
right? So we're just kind of like locked in this situation where we can kind of like mention it, we're like, ah, no, we're not, and we're like it's eating us alive to even say that because we want to get more if we could have all the time in the world, we would sit them down and be like, hey, this is the situation. this happened on this day and this is here. You can check the VODs, but nobody does that. And the truth is, people that say dead chat are not gonna stick around anyways. So like, um, it's not even worth talking to them. But it's the situation that the system has created where you're kind of in this, like, you're locked in this situation where you can't be honest and you can't be passionate about it and kind of relay this emotion of like, oh man, and we tell the community not to talk about it too, so they can't go, ape shit about that either. And so it's, um I think we just have to understand that those kind of like trolls will exist, but it's also the system is making us not being able to like full out talk about it or like somehow prove that we didn't do it to ourselves, or it's just, it's a very it's probably the most difficult situation that we faced, um streaming,
Yeah,
because
I think so too. It was a really stressful week
yeah,
and a half.
it mentally taxed us a
Yeah,
lot. We didn't know what to do, and people were starting to send DMs like, um
they were really worried about
yeah, like
everything.
community members like, dude, are you okay? Like, you guys aren't gonna get banned, right? And I was like, no, 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 we didn't put it in. Like, we'll be fine. And then there's other streamers that were coming in, and I know people that are streamers that are very vocal about view botting, and I hope those people realize sooner or later that it's not always the streamer's fault. The streamer doesn't view bot themselves 100% of the time, so um it's a really uh it's a really dangerous assumption to make as a viewer or streamer, that if you see a very unbalanced number, and I can't stress this enough, if you see that unbalanced number, it's not the streamer putting, they're not botting themselves 100% of the time. And I'm not saying it's all the time, but just because I can only speak from my experience and how much that hurts, uh as a streamer, that's, I would like to think we're working hard. It's really heartbreaking for you and the community, because I think the community is like, if you have a community that's proud of the community, that's like the end goal right there, and that's what's most important. And it's hard to be proud of your community when you're getting view botted, and there's nothing you can do. And I think it's a serious problem that hopefully the system will work around. I don't know how to do that, but I'm just saying, um, the best we can do is be a little bit more, or I can do is be more understanding, I guess. Because let's when I used to see situations like that, I'm not gonna lie, like I would like, oh, they're view botting was my first inclination of that situation, but that has completely changed for me. Yeah. So what's gonna happen if we get botted again?
Well, we'll just have to do what we did last time, right? Try to power through it.
Yeah. It's I feel like it's not gonna just happen because it's already happened to us multiple times. I feel like it might
Yeah.
happen again.
Yeah, I just hope it's not to a point where we're like at an average view of like 70 and then it sets us back again. Like that. I don't know if I can take that twice.
If we're at 70 concurrent viewers and that happens, that's really gonna blow. And
Yeah.
we VC'd when we were in VC with community members. I think that was one of the things that really pissed them off, was that they saw this growth of our channel going up, and like, you guys were almost there, and then
This
yeah.
happened, yeah.
And I know that from like 60 to 75 is a really big step, but they saw it go up, and they, I guess,
Yeah.
they were stoked for us, and then
And
boom.
then we're like, yeah, sorry guys. Yeah. It's gonna be a couple more months kind
Yeah.
of thing. So
And now we don't know. Like, we don't know what, like, we say like we gotta wait a couple like once we hit that we'll wait a couple months, but like, like,
we're probably gonna have to wait longer.
that's really ambiguous,
Yeah.
like, and it's not they always say it's not about the numbers, but like, it view count is something every streamer looks at, like, let's be honest, and it's
And especially since it is a requirement. So technically that is something you kind of do have to look at
mhm,
because it is the requirement that you need to reach the next full level,
mhm.
I suppose, within Twitch. And so I think, yeah, it's something every one of us, every person who's trying to reach partner is going to look at no matter what. So,
The only problem is if you start if you start centering your stream around the view count, it's totally okay to care about it and obsess over this number of this view count number. The only problem is if you start centering your stream content or whatever, whatever you do for stream based on that number, that's the problem. You can care about the number all you want and care about it a lot. Like personally, if the stream stays the same as you do for like a 20% stream, and that's what we've been doing. Like the stream stuff hasn't changed, but we really care about the growth of the channel because, like you said, it's literally one of the criteria to get partnership, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, my thinking is, yeah, care about it, think about it, how to make the stream better, blah blah blah. But if you can't change, you can't have that dictate what your stream is, or I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I feel like for me personally, I wouldn't be able to enjoy the stream the way I do, and that would just shorten the lifespan of the Bluets stream if I did that. And I think that's really important. Just care about the numbers all you want. Just don't let it dictate what you stream or dictate what you the character of who you are. Like don't there's no point of that because people can see through that right away.
I think just to put it simply, just remember that behind every number is a person. If you aren't getting bought, of course, but every behind every number is a person, and so while you can worry about that number, just you just have to keep telling yourself that it is a person behind that number, and that person is someone who is currently enjoying hanging out with us. And so in the end, those people, those community members who come watch us almost on a like even not maybe not on a daily basis, but who's there and who sits with us for the 3 hours, hangs out with us, enjoys talking to us, enjoys our content. Like they come before anything else when it comes to when it dictates what we should stream or what kind of environment we want to make. So
Yeah. And yeah, that's a really good point is that you can there's a person behind every number. And when you get view botted, that's the first time the view count becomes a number and not a person because you can't tell who's behind that number. And that's the problem. They just become, and it sucks because every time we look at a view count, we go, okay, so this person's probably here. Okay, that guy's probably asleep. That person is probably at school. Maybe, they're at their work. And we kind of visualize our demographic that we know of. Of course, there's lurkers that we don't know, and we could encourage that. Like, it's totally fine. But for the people that are chatting, we kind of have this image of who's here and who's not. And once that number becomes this pretty much just like nothing, right? Because, like, we don't know who's there anymore. And it's really hard for us to because there's very different types of people in our community, which is great. When I see depending on the time slot and week, I can kind of tell who's going to be there, full time for that day or like okay, this person's usually asleep. So I kind of I try to not kind I, cater is a wrong word, but like I would try to get my mindset into these group of people or these group of people or these group of people. But when that's 700 or whatever, but I need some hints of who's gonna be there, right? It's not like I have it like memorized completely, so they're always a hint. But when those numbers just like boom, it's like I can't tell anymore, and it's um it changes that person behind that number into just a number now. And it's of course I'm in chat, so it's not like um I'm like freaking out and I don't talk to anybody or anything like that, and it's fine. But it really does mess with the flow. Just having that number, it definitely flow the way I kind of go flow through the stream. It changes a lot. And I think that was pretty apparent. Um if not, then thank God. But it was really taxing for me. If it was like it was very heavy for me mentally. Every one of those streams when it would go through the roof. Like I would try to tell myself it's okay, but that really sucked.
yeah, like it was hard to say to tell yourself it was okay because in the back of our minds we're saying like we're thinking like this isn't really okay. So
Yeah, because after every stream, whether it be good or bad, we always take some time, about like 10 minutes, and we go, okay, so this is what we did. Like it was good, or maybe we can do that better. Or if it's not that good, be like, what
Like,
the
yeah,
hell was going on today? Like what happened today? Like
yeah, or like, oh, we were not on
yeah,
our A game today, or
we're
like, oh
terrible
my God, we
today.
were way too tired today, or like things like that. We can kind of tell, like, oh, we should do this for the next stream, or we did really well here or there or whatever. But it's like the times when we had bots, it's like every time we would finish stream, it was just, and it's like a moment of silence
and
between the both of us.
and then it'd be like, how do we do? I have
Like,
no
I have
idea.
no idea.
Like
Yeah.
chat was going off. Um,
You know, the people who are usually there were usually there. So
yeah,
it's probably like, we probably were around this kind of thing. Like, we probably had this many people. It's kind of like we could kind of guess. But in the end, like, we didn't know if we didn't even know if we had new people that were like, we didn't know if we had like new lurkers or anything. And so, I mean, of course, the people who talked in chat were new and we can recognize them. But there were times when we would be like, oh, we have some new lurkers today. And like, we didn't even have that. Or like, oh, maybe these, like, if we have like a rise in numbers, but not really that much of a rise in new people talking, it could just mean like, oh, maybe some people are like just checking out the stream before they start talking kind of thing. But we couldn't even do that. They were just like, well, there goes another stream. When is this gonna end?
not
Kind of
to
thing.
mention,
So
what also was sad was, or what was really bothering me was, the bot follows. We got a
yeah.
ton. I think we had like 1,000 in total bot follows,
Mm-hmm.
and that sucked because we're talking behind the scene now. You can tell if it's a bot, by the name usually, but some of them I can't tell. It's not 100%,
Yeah.
and there
Because
are real people. So
mm-hmm.
every time I would have to say thank you so much for following, and a little bit of me. It's just so crappy to not know that there's like 90% of them are bots, and I know
Yeah.
that in my head, but I have to go full enthusiasm and be like, "Yo, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
that
much for
follow."
following. Yeah.
And because there's that 1% chance that it's a real person, and I'm going to bank on that 1%. Like I will
Mm-hmm.
do it 100 times. If I would say thank you to a bot 100 times, if that one person is real and they feel like they're being included in the stream,
Exactly.
I will take that chance. So, but when it happens, and you got, and people that were there know how many fake follows we got, but I don't think we missed even one.
Yeah.
Like we just kept
We
going and
thanked every
going and
single
going.
one of them.
And that was really tiring to
That yeah.
um it really took the excitement about every new follow is super exciting for us. It
Yeah.
really is. Like to this day it's, and it should be. And like everything is fake now at that point. Like the follow count is fake. We didn't deserve that. The view count's fake. The statistics are fake. And the only thing that we can really rely on is chat. And that was really what kept us going, was that the real people were there hanging out with us. And um it was, that's why we were there. If the chat was botted, I know there's chat bots, and there were some. There were some chat bots that were there, but not as much, because usually it was like the regulars.
Yeah,
But
and then the chat bots, we ended up just banning them because you can tell.
yeah,
So
but it's some are, but it was really chat that kept us going. So it was like it was a really difficult month. It was, every stream just kind of felt really, we could only gauge it by uh just exactly like what we thought chat was like.
mhm.
Like that's all we could gauge it by. And activity in chat actually went down a lot during during that time. It's picking up again, but it's it went down a lot because people just weren't, it's really annoying because the notification keeps going off, boom, boom, boom. And I thought about, and I told Blue, like, should we just turn it off? Should we just turn the notifications off? Because these are all just fake. But I think people like seeing the gifts. People like hearing that, hearing the sound. Maybe they're tired of the
There
MSN by now. But
and
um
there is that 1% that is somebody,
yeah,
and I don't want it to not go off in the case that it was a person,
yeah, I'm not
like
gonna,
an actual viewer.
yeah,
So we just like turning it off wasn't an option, and not saying thank you, even if the name was like 26, like B4 or whatever. Like it's most likely like a randomized number, but you never know.
It's usually,
So
and it's not even just numbers. They're like actual words. They're just random words. And then you
yeah,
look on their profile and it's like, okay,
yeah.
like
So
this
it's
is completely, yeah. So it's, but I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like I don't know. Maybe it's like a 90% maybe guess, but I'm still gonna bank on and every time that comes up, I gotta tell myself, no, that's a real viewer, and they're enjoying the stream. So I'm gonna say thank you. And first it was fine. Um, but then maybe around like the fifth, sixth stream when it just kept happening, it
yeah.
was just kind of like, okay, this is pretty crazy that this just keeps happening and happening and happening. And I guess a good place to kind of finish this topic, I think we talked about it enough, is if somebody is getting botted, right? And they come to you, like, what would be your advice to combat that?
Well, I think it's what we already kind of covered in the sense that, I mean, honestly, there is not much you can do. I mean, you can contact Twitch, but honestly, I think they deal with this so much that there's not much they can do either because they can't do IP bans. They can't do they can ban certain people. Like you can ban them from your channel, but they can't do anything about it in the case where like they can't just go in and delete the bots for you. Like I don't think that's something they're capable of. And so, I mean, if you go to their guidelines, they do have like a guide saying what you should do when you do get botted, which is what we did or what we tried to do was like don't talk like don't acknowledge that it's there and explain what is happening, but don't give them too much. Don't give like the bots too much attention where it might feed the troll into botting you more or make it a situation where it makes if it is a troll, it makes it fun for that person to see your reaction. So don't you like it just says don't react too much to it kind of thing. And so honestly, like other than that, I don't think we did anything too extraordinary to deal with it. I mean, the way we dealt with it, the way we try to make it positive for us was what Gray and I decided to do after after we discussed it. So it might not work for everyone, but if that's something that whoever is going through it can do as well, and if that works out for them, and if that can keep them motivated to try and kind of power through it until the bosses appear, then I mean, give it a shot. I say,
I think
but
so. And
yeah,
what was important for us, we should have done sooner, I think. Or maybe it was a good time, was tell your community. If you have a community that supports you, tell them immediately what's going on Discord, because they're the people that are going to be worrying about it the most.
and of course, tell your mods.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah,
That's what yeah, the
yeah,
mods, community, everybody, because it that's the most important communication you need to make, because people that are in the community, you don't want them to doubt even for a second that you're botting yourself if you're not. Um, you don't want that to happen. So just come clear of what's going on. Like, guys, so we noticed that we're getting botted. We're trying to, and we did forget to mention that, is that we did contact staff at Twitch. Um, and it just doesn't seem like a problem that it was what they did. Yeah, like you said, they did send us the help page, and and, and I think it's just that difficult of a problem to break
yeah.
down on.
Unfortunately, they can't really pinpoint like unless you know exactly who's botting you or who the troll is or whatever. Like, there's not much they can do. Like, if
You
you
need
know
proof.
specifically who it is, then they can of course take action. But if you don't really know, then like if you don't have proof, then there's not much they can do. So it's that at least that's what I got from the help page.
Yeah.
So
Tell your community, uh, do whatever you can in your power, and if it doesn't work, it's okay. It's totally okay, because um, in our experience, there's not really much you can do. It's gonna be rough, but knowing that your community knows really helps. And maybe if you don't want to mention it, make a command on Twitch. We had a bot command where we just exclamation mark bot, and so we don't have to mention on stream, but on chat, it says um this is the situation. I've read that people put it in their Twitch titles. I would not recommend doing that because that encourages people to do it even more, like the malicious people, by putting it in the title. So I would just make a command. Is what we did. Um, but what's most important is having your community on the, because I cannot imagine what it would be impossible if our community wasn't on our side worrying about us. Um, that was literally the only thing that we had going for us at that point, and we were lucky that we have such a strong bond with everybody, and we've been working really hard to create that bond. But you need to have your community back you up in a situation like that, because everything that you've been working up to that point, if you get botted for the period that you are getting botted, will be gone. You're at a hard reset for a certain point because your followers don't matter. Like they don't mean anything if you get follow botted. View count, your statistics. If you look at your statistics and if that's something that you kind of base your progress on, forget it for that month. Um, if you get view botted for as long as we did, uh, it's all gone. So you and I guess a hard reset for the month, maybe a couple 2 months. Um, and once the bots go away, it's not like a what like. Of course, you're happy that they're gone, but it's still really big weight on you. So get ready to just kind of like uh be ready yeah, just get ready for that. And our community was really happy that when they realized that the view bots are gone, they were really stoked. And that's really fucking cool. If your community can be like, fuck yeah, the view bots are gone. Yeah, like the views are just like normal is like it's a sign that we fought it together. And that's like that's very, very important that we had our community backing us up this whole time. And it's really hard because like during that time, it's hard for people to recommend our channel to other people. That's the most important, like, that's the most powerful, like, thing you could do is having a friend that really likes your content. That it's like a band. Like, when your friend tells you, a really trusted friend tells you, check this band out, you're more inclined to listen to it than just like some site or something like that, right? So, that's the strong, those are very strong the connections for us. But it's hard to do that when we're obviously getting botted. And we understand that and we can't do anything about it. But yeah, so tell your community ASAP what's going on. Do whatever you can. Um, and there's really no fix to nothing's gonna take that heavy. It's gonna be a heavy month for you. And I hope you make it through if that ever happens. Um, but it will get better because like I said, it's a paid thing. So it can't stay forever unless you're paying for it for yourself. And you're just or someone really hates you or something like that, they're like pretty much paying money to annoy you. So it's gonna go away sometime. It's gonna go away sometime, and I really, really hope that it's sooner. It's sooner than later, I guess, that it goes away. But yeah, there's really not like a button that you can press to get the bots away. Yeah. Well, anyways, so that was like I told you before when we started Blue that we probably be talking about this for a real long time, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's pretty much what this podcast was about.
Yeah.
People are interested. If anybody that's listening to this, we try to answer everything that we kind of got throughout the month. If we miss something, you're just still kind of wondering anything else. We're open to talk about it. Now
Yeah,
that
we're
it's
open to do like question answer kind of things too. If
yeah,
there's something you want us to cover in the podcast as well. So
yeah,
yeah.
and regarding this topic, if there's a question that you wanted to ask us, feel free to ask us on Discord. Um, we're always open to talk about it. So yeah, next month is June. We're already
Mm,
in June. It's my birthday month. We had a
yeah.
we had a
Happy
pretty crazy
birthday.
month. Thank you. We had a pretty crazy month. Um, talked about we had a lot of stuff will be going through next month. Hopefully we have a little cool like
We have
um
a cool
we
idea.
have a cool idea that
Uh,
was suggested
yeah.
by somebody. So we might try to do that, Maybe a special guest, maybe. Oh, we'll see.
So it'll be a special 1 year.
Yeah. Well, this is technically the 1 year, but still,
Yeah, but I meant like we started in June, and so it's like the June podcast is like special.
that's true. All right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe we might have a special guest. Who knows? All right. We'll see you guys in the next episode of Band. See you later, guys.
Bye guys.